Hey, it's time again for me to review something that happened in life a couple of months ago. I seem to basically be making a habit out of this now. What's going on with my glasses? Oh my god, they're steaming up. To be fair, it's really hot in here. I need to get new glasses because these are just too small for my head at this point. But anyway, that's not why I'm here. The reason I'm here is to review New York. And oh, I've just knocked the table. I didn't mean to do that. It's to review a holiday to New York. And as breaking news for this video, I'm making history on this very small YouTube channel because this is the first video that I have shared with my personal group of people. I say friends, just people who I know, people who know me. Yeah, so if you are watching this through the link that I've just posted to my Instagram, then hi, this is what I'm trying to do with my life. It might not work, but you don't know unless you try. So yeah, feel free to subscribe and all of that wonderful stuff. Of course, that goes for anybody watching this video. New York at Christmas time, is it worth it? I am going to try my best to answer that question. I'm going to give you a pretty extensive review of what happened when we went back in December. So just getting straight into it. We went on the 13th of December. We came back on the 20th. So we stayed there for a week. And I'm not going to talk too much about the actual travel day itself because I've already got another video on my YouTube channel where I filmed all the travel day and all of that. So feel free to go and have a look at that if you want to. There's a link in the description, and also there's a playlist on my channel as well, or at least there should be if I'm any good at YouTube. It basically includes all of the New York stuff anyway, so there should be 4 videos in total, including this one. But the travel day itself was fine. However, there were still some bad experiences. I think I talk about these experiences in greater detail on the other video that I've just referred to, which is the travel day video. But whether it was the staff in the airport or the taxi driver when we got over there, like, there were some bad experiences, but we still got over there. Right, lesson number 1 of trying to make a YouTube video: make sure that your phone or whatever you're using, cameras, whatever it is that you're using to record your videos with, make sure that they've got enough storage. I've just been rudely interrupted by my phone telling me that there's no storage left. So it's probably a sign that I just ramble too much, isn't it? But where was I? So yeah, we got over there safe. The first thing that I will say, this is probably going to sound like I'm stating the obvious, but we went in December, which is of course one of the winter months. It was freezing. As soon as I stepped outside the airport, like basically looking for our taxi driver, I've never been so cold in my life. I mean, I'm a big bloke, right? I've got a beer belly, you know, or a dad bod, whatever you want to call my physique, and I'm well insulated. Let's just say, if I can use that term. But I was absolutely freezing cold out there. Like, I had a coat that zipped up, but the shacket that I had, which is here somewhere, not that I'm going to show you the shacket, but it basically didn't zip up. So get something that is appropriate for freezing cold weather, because although I spend most of my time sweating my tits off, I mean, even in this video, my glasses have steamed up because it's really warm in here. Even though I spend most of my time sweating to death, it was really cold out there. Like, most of the time, I think the temperature was between like 0 and like maybe 4 or 5 degrees. I know when we went to Central Park, it was much higher than that. It was in like the 14, 15 degree type range. But the cold of it being like, you know, freezing or maybe in the minus temperatures, it was just something else. And I think that was basically something to do with the fact, yes, that it was the time of year that we went, but I think it was also to do with the fact that the wind that we were having, like the gusts of wind, was making it feel like much colder than what it was. I mean, I think at one point, I think the one day, I can't remember which specific day it was, but I remember it being about 2 degrees, but my weather app on my phone said it felt like -8. And I've never experienced it before. All I will say is, wrap up warm. The rain as well, that sort of, it was that like drizzly, like wet rain, as I call it. I know all rain is wet, but you know what I'm on about? That really fine stuff that gets you absolutely soaking wet through. It was that. And every time you had a gust of wind, it basically just felt like somebody was throwing a bucket of either freezing cold water or ice over you. It was not great. So wrap up warm. You'll thank me later. I wish you could see her face right now. She's looking at me as if to say, Shane, just stop rambling and get to the point. This is Betsy, but well, that was Betsy, by the way. In case you have never seen me before or her. But moving on to food, and it was great food. If you love pizza, New York is going to be the place for you. It was just swamped with pizza places. I have put a video on my channel. It's one of the 4 videos that will be in the New York playlist on my channel. And in that video, I tried some pizza for myself. It was absolutely banging. It was great. Again, if you are a fan of pizza, New York will be the place for you. Of course, there are other places as well. You've got your McDonald's, you've got your other fast food places. And you do have your restaurants, whether they are Italian restaurants or whether they're, maybe steakhouses and stuff. We didn't go in any of those places. We were very much like on the go pretty much all the time. So we were literally in fast food heaven. We do like our food in this house. But yeah, it was really good for the food. In terms of how much the food cost us when we were over there, I mean, really depending on what you wanted. Sometimes you might spend loads, other times you might not spend really too much at all. But speaking of spending loads of money on food, strap yourselves in because I'm about to take you on a journey and I'm going to rant for the next couple of seconds or minutes or however long it takes me to get this issue off my system, because they say that New York is like a once-in-a-lifetime place, for many people and stuff, and like it's got that kind of a feel about it. And yes, okay, fair enough, it has. But there was something that we did that literally for us is once in a lifetime, because I promise you, for as long as I am breathing, I will never do this again. Right. Picture this. Me and Chris, we're a little bit hungry. We're in JFK Airport, and we know that whilst we're not overly hungry, we still need something to bridge the gap, because we're about to board a flight which basically is not going to have any food on it, as far as what we were aware anyway. We ended up going to like a WH Smith type shop. From this WH Smith type shop, of course, it wasn't actually WH Smith. I can't remember the name of it, but it was one of these places that you can expect to see in an airport, like a general convenience store. From this shop, we bought the following. So an Italian sub, which I had. I think there was either chicken or some kind of meat on this sub. I can't remember what the meat was. But Chris had some chicken and bacon wraps. And then she also had a big bag of Chex Mix as well, which is one of the things I think this was one of the highlights of Chris's holiday when she discovered these crisps. I say crisps. You can't really call them crisps, can you? But they're one of Chris's favourites basically, and that's what she bought. And drinks-wise, we also bought a bottle of Coke and a bottle of Dr. Pepper, which exploded on me. It made me look like an absolute fool in the middle of the airport, but it was all right because I knew that I was going to be getting on the plane in a minute and it was going to be dark, and all of these people around me, apart from Chris, I was never going to see him again. But the fact that this exploded over me just added insult to injury, because for all of those things, altogether, it cost us, for those 5 things, strap yourself in, $47.86. We paid with a $50 bill for essentially meal deals. I don't know. And I know obviously in pounds it's a little bit less money, but it's not all that less. Like, you're talking what? 40 quid, maybe 35, 40 quid, something like that for meal deals. For 2 like sandwich based things and 2 drinks and then 1 pack of like crisp type things. I don't even know what they are. They're some kind of savory things. I don't know. To me, they just taste weird. But again, to Chris, they were like the best thing ever. And don't get me wrong, the fact that she was so happy that she had this Chex Mix, it turned out that it was like the best $50 that I'd ever spent. But $50, basically, I just don't know. I'm still, even now, right, we're on the 6th of March today. This was the 20th of December that this happened. And I still can't get over it. I suppose I just need to let it go or whatever. But whatever you do, whether you want to watch the rest of this video or not, or whether you go elsewhere on YouTube or whatever, if you ever find yourself in JFK Airport, please don't do what I did and spend $47.86 on a couple of sandwiches and a couple of drinks, one of which explodes on you. Please don't. Just please. It's a waste of time. It's not worth it. Oh, God, I'm glad that that rant is over. $47, I can't believe it. But as I start to talk about the next things that I want to talk about in this video, you'll start realizing that New York is a very expensive place. So with that in mind, we're going to move on now to the attractions and the things to do. And I'm going to start off with the most obvious for me, really, which was Times Square. And the first thing that I will say is that I actually thought getting into Times Square was quite intimidating. The sheer amount of people that were there and that were other parts of like different attractions and stuff, I've never seen that many people in my life anywhere. And, you know, there were people trying to sell you things, people trying to basically stop you in the street. There were also the locals of New York trying to basically tell tourists to go home at some stages. There were people shouting like at people walking past. It was just an absolutely crazy place filled with crazy different characters. But when we first got there, as I said, it was really intimidating. I think a couple of people saw us come in and straight away just pulled us to one side, tried to sell us things. But it was that very, like, it was so fast moving. It was like, oh, you know, this is what we do, this is what we are, this is what we offer, give us your money. And then when we say no, they then go on to the next person. So eventually you start getting used to people trying to flag you down, and you end up avoiding certain people and certain things. One of which are the mascots. The mascots in Times Square, and I'm talking about the people who wear the Disney costumes and stuff to try and get you to take pictures. I have watched YouTube videos where people get scammed by these people. The amount of times that me and Chris walked through Times Square during this week in December, where it was like, oh my God, these people are going to come over to us now. These mascots are going to come and ask us for a picture. Quick, make it look like we hate each other. Just go away. Just honestly, the amount of times that we did that, it was quite funny. Of course, you can just tell these people no, but some people, not just the mascots, some people are really pushy, and they can be pushy. Same thing as well with people who are trying to offer you bus tours or tours on like rickshaws and stuff. You know, those bikes that one person rides, two people sit on the back. You know, same thing with them as well. People are always trying to get you to, you know, do these things. And in my opinion, these types of experiences are never worth it. It was the same in Central Park as well, which is the next place that I'm going to talk about. Although it was an absolutely gorgeous place and I 100% recommend it, you still had your people trying to sell you, you know, the horse and carriage rides, the rickshaw tours or whatever. But with that being said, as long as you can stamp out the fact that these people are, you know, just trying to get some money out of you, you begin to appreciate Central Park for what it is, and it is stunning. It really is. I'm not going to talk too much about it because, again, I did a video about Central Park, which is, of course, on my YouTube channel as well. Another place where we went is the Rockefeller Tree. People might not, and when I say people, I mean like travel agents and you know, people like that trying to sell you holidays and packages and all that stuff. People might not point this out to you, but the sheer amount of people in New York as a whole is enough to drive anybody absolutely crazy. Like, I've never been in an environment where there was that many people in one setting before. Of course, this is only there at Christmas time. But again, the sheer amount of people there, and yes, okay, fair enough, it's a big Christmas tree and all of this, but it was just, I don't know, it was a little bit like, is that it? It was pretty, don't get me wrong, but the people, just the amount of people, at one point, I mean, I didn't do this, but I probably could have, At one point, I know that I could have picked my feet up off the floor and still be moving because the amount of people, like if you suffer from claustrophobia, and you make a decision to go to New York, at Christmas time, I mean, I don't suffer from claustrophobia and I was suffering. Like it was really bad, like being that close to people. And there were people that were getting stressed out, but it was just, I don't know, it was absolute, it was bedlam. It really was. Um there was no policing really. I mean, there was police around and about, but there was no way of stopping the sheer amount of people that were all there to do the same thing. But it was just, I don't know. I don't want to use the word scary because then I think people might watch this and go, "Oh God, he's a wimp, isn't he?" But it was just an experience. Something else we did was the History Museum. We actually did this on my birthday. The dinosaur section of the History Museum is absolutely amazing. If you're interested in dinosaurs, which, I mean, Chris loves dinosaurs. I mean, I like dinosaurs as well, but Chris loves dinosaurs. She was in her element. I think she was a bit overstimulated, which was really funny. But it was incredible. It was sorry, I'm still thinking about $47. I can't believe it, but yeah. The museum was really good. Something else that was also quite, not overwhelming, but it was powerful, was the 9/11 memorial. Now, I didn't get any videos inside the memorial itself because I wanted to see that with my own eyes. But it was somber and, like I said, really powerful. It's hard to believe that it happened. Whatever your view is, everybody who remembers that day remembers exactly where they were. It was interesting. It was insightful. It's one of the most respectful places that I've ever been to. But anyway, you get the idea. If you're ever going to go over there, please do go into that place because it was yeah, a peaceful, powerful, but somber kind of day. And we did some other things as well, which I suppose this is like an honourable mention section. So we went to Macy's. It's like however many floors of shopping things, and we just had a walk around. We started at the top. Shopping things, that's just not a right term. I think it was about 11 floors. I might be wrong though, or I don't know. It's the information's there on Google. But yeah, it was something to do. I mean, we also went into Target as well, and there was a few other shops that we went in that we wanted to go and see, and it was just, yeah, it was nice to do that type of stuff. But moving on to the things that we didn't do and the reasons why, well, there was two reasons. They either didn't interest us, which is quite obvious, or it was just too much money to do these things. And I'm going to talk through each one with you over the next part of this video. I hope you're enjoying this video, and if you are, please do feel free to subscribe. I think I've already said that once today, but oh well, I've said it again. Now, I've written a list of things that we didn't do, starting with the Statue of Liberty. We just didn't have any interest in it, but when we finished the 9/11 memorial, we went walking around a particular shopping centre. I can't for the life of me think about the name of the shopping centre, but as you can see just here, when you looked out of the window, I mean, it was a very, very long way away from where we were, but the Statue of Liberty was there. So we've technically seen it, but we just didn't get on the ferry to take us over to the statue itself. And we didn't do the Staten Island ferry either, which I know is what some people do. Oddly enough, we also didn't do the Brooklyn Bridge, and I think I'm going to put this down to the fact that it was just freezing cold when we were there. But as I pointed out in the travel day video, the taxi driver that picked us up from the airport to take us to our hotel, he ended up taking us over the Brooklyn Bridge anyway. So it was one of those that I'd seen it with my own eyes. I've travelled across it. I didn't need to go back and walk across it. But I know that some people do. I suppose in the summer months and when it's a little bit warmer, it will be a lot better, basically. But the idea of basically being battered to death by the wind and sometimes the rain just to go and walk over the bridge, it just wasn't a thing for us. And then there was a few things that we didn't do just because of money. And There's three things on the list that I can remember off the top of my head. Chris is on the way home, so the chances will be that if there's anything else that I'm missing, I'll let you know before I finish this video. But we didn't see a show just because of the prices that they were charging. Or to go and see a show on Broadway, you were looking at something between $150 and $200 for when we were there. Of course, there were some shows that were more popular than others. There was some shows where you could go at a different time and you might get a little bit, you know, a little bit money off, basically. But in our experience, it was between $150 and $200, roughly. We also didn't fly in a helicopter. I've always wanted to fly in a helicopter, whether it's in New York or America or somewhere like in the UK, it doesn't matter. I've always wanted to fly in a helicopter. It's just been one of my dreams that I've always wanted to do. And when Chris was planning this trip, when she first booked it, she didn't tell me about it. But one of the things that she tried to do was to book a helicopter flight whilst we were in New York. But she told me basically the prices for like an 18 or 19-minute flight or whatever it was with some of the companies that she was looking at, they were talking, I think, like $300 or maybe even $400. It was absolutely absurd for what you were going to be getting. And I just said, look, you know, it does not bother me one bit at all. But obviously, thank you for the gesture, but just don't worry about it. I'm not spending that much money on a helicopter flight. But you know, $47 for a sandwich as well. I can't believe that. I really do need to let it go. Something else that we didn't do because I just didn't feel it was worth it was any of the vantage points. I had to really think about why I would be going to the top of a building to see the view. And I suppose really the only thing that I would say, and the only reason that I was really going to do it was to take a picture to put it on social media. I didn't really have any other reason to be up there. To go up the Empire State Building, I think it was about $40 a person. No, thank you. We didn't have that money to be able to spend on, you know, that anyway. But I suppose really if we did have more money, we probably would have done these things. If we had more time as well, we probably would have done these things. I actually think doing a week in New York, if you've not really got that much stuff booked, I do think that it's too long. But that is my opinion. You know, people might do all of these things that I've listed and, you know, you might need to go back and do some more stuff. It's fair enough. But if you're going to do all of the stuff, just make sure that you've got quite a good amount of money to take with you. We weren't on a budget, but we also weren't loaded, and it meant that we basically couldn't do things that we'd spoken about doing, like going to see a show and all that. But when you actually went to book these things, it was like, hang on a minute, that's a bizarre amount of money. I guess really what I'm trying to say is that, you know, I did things that I wanted to do. Oh, Chris is back now, so I'll get to ask her what she thinks of New York as well. But if I had the opportunity, I might go back and do some more stuff or whatever. But would I really? I don't really know. I suppose I'm just rambling because Chris has just gotten back and I don't really know what to say. Right, the commotion of Chris getting back in this house. I mean, she's in the kitchen at the moment, but the commotion of like the dog going crazy and everything, that's all over. And this video is nearly over as well. What I'm trying to say is with like how expensive things are is that the more money you take, the better your experience is probably going to be. But please, 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 for the love of God, don't spend $47 on airport food, whatever you do, because I promise you it's not worth it. The time of year that we went, this is the last thing that I want to talk about, because I actually think that some of the things that I've spoken about, whether it be the weather or how expensive things are, or the people being like everywhere, I think that is part of the reason as to why we had the experience that we did when it came to all of those bad points. I'm sure if you went in the summer, it would be very nice. You know, it'd probably still be as expensive and maybe there'll still be loads of people there, but I don't know. Christmas was everywhere there. Even when Christmas wasn't visible, you could still hear it. Like every single block that you walked up and down and every street that you went down and whatever. Last Christmas by Wham and the Mariah Carey Christmas song, Stop Dancing to Last Christmas. They were everywhere. They were just everywhere. Like, if they weren't in Christmas shops or whatever, or Christmas parts of shops, I don't know, they were on the back of people's rickshaws as they were taking people around or whatever. Like it was everywhere. The other song that it wasn't Christmas themed, but it was New York themed. To be fair, there was two songs. It was either Empire State of Mind by Jay-Z and Alicia Keys, or it was New York, New York by Frank Sinatra. Like those songs I can kind of understand because they're all about New York. But those two Christmas songs, for the couple of days or after a couple of days of being there, you just become desensitized to them. And then when you come back here, if you're coming back here before Christmas, like we did, when you hear them again, you just go, oh no, not again. And you just want to turn them off, honestly. The fact that Christmas was everywhere, it almost cheapened it. Obviously, the reason that it's on all the time is because there's tourists coming in and out of New York all the time. It was just, I don't know, it was just a bit too much after a bit. But, you know, we still did it. I can still say that, you know, we did New York at Christmas time, and I am very grateful. We went through loads of things last year to try and get this paid and try and make sure that it was going to be all right to go. It was expensive, it was overwhelming, and Christmas was just overdone, and there was also too many people there in some parts. Although I'm saying all of this, I genuinely still had a really good time. I hope you have enjoyed watching this. I hope it's been insightful. Of course, the travel agents and the people trying to sell you these things, they won't tell you the amount of people that are, you know, in these places and whatever. But I'm hoping that I've managed to shed some light. If you've never been there before and you're thinking about going there, you might enjoy yourself. You might, you know, take more money than what we did. You might really, really enjoy it. And like I said earlier on, you might need to go back to do more things. But for me, I think unless there's something that I absolutely need to go and see, I think it's a one and done type place. There's more places to go, I suppose, and that's hopefully what I'm going to be doing on this channel going forward. So if you know me personally and you're watching this video, please don't judge. Please don't. I mean, if you do judge, fair enough, but I'm trying my best to keep busy and to make something of this wonderful YouTube channel that I've had for a little bit of time and I haven't told anybody about. I'm planning on going to more places, including back to America. We are going to Florida in July, and Chris can't wait, and neither can I. There's a new theme park there. We can't wait, but in between now and then, there's going to be lots of different places that I want to go to with our little knobhead over there called Betsy the dog. Anyway, I'm going. Thank you ever so much for watching. New York, do I think it's worth it? Yes. Will I go back? Maybe. Am I rambling? Yes. Should I shut up? Yes. Cool. Okay. Questions answered. I'm going now. $47.